One day, the artist Cimabue, going on business from Florence to Vespignano, found Giotto while his sheep were feeding, drawing a sheep from nature upon a smooth and solid rock with a pointed stone, having never learnt from anyone but nature. Cimabue, marveling at him, stopped and asked him if he would go and be with him. And the boy answered that if his father were content, he would gladly go. Then Cimabue asked Bondone for him, and he gave him up to him and was content that he should take him to Florence. There, in a little time, by the aid of nature and the teaching of Cimabue, the boy not only equaled his master, but freed himself from the rude manner of the Greeks and brought back to life the true art of painting, introducing the drawing from nature of living persons, which had not been practiced for 200 years, or at least, if some had tried it, they had not succeeded very happily. Giotto painted, among others, as may be seen to this day in the chapel of the Podesta's palace at Florence, Dante Alighieri, his contemporary and great friend, and no less famous a poet than Giotto was a painter. After this, he was called to Assisi by Fra Giovanni di Muro, at that time General of the Order of St. Francis, and painted in fresco in the upper church 32 stories from the life and deeds of St. Francis, which brought him great fame. It is no wonder, therefore, that Pope Benedict sent one of his courtiers into Tuscany to see what sort of a man he was and what his works were like, for the Pope was planning to have some paintings made in St. Peter's. This courtier made his way to see Giotto and to find out what other masters of painting and mosaic there were in Florence. He spoke with many masters in Siena, and then, having received some drawings from them, he came to Florence. And one morning, going into the workshop of Giotto, who was at his labors, he showed him the mind of the Pope, and at last asked him to give him a little drawing to send to His Holiness. Giotto, who was a man of courteous manners, immediately took a sheet of paper and with a pen dipped in red, fixing his arm firmly against his side to make a compass of it, with a turn of his hand, he made a circle so perfect that it was a marvel to see it. Having done it, he turned smiling to the courtier and said, "Here is the drawing." But he, thinking he was being laughed at, asked, "Am I to have no other drawing than this?" "That is enough, and too much," replied Giotto. "Send it with the others and see if it will be understood." The messenger, seeing that he could get nothing else from Giotto, departed ill-pleased, not doubting that he had been made a fool of. However, sending the other drawings to the Pope with the names of those who had made them, he also sent Giotto's, relating how he had made the circle without moving his arm and without compasses, which when the Pope and many of his courtiers understood, they saw that Giotto must surpass greatly all the other painters of his time. This thing being told, there arose from it a proverb which is still used about men of coarse clay: "You are rounder than the circle of Giotto."